I'm Jono Buchanan, and in this video we're going to be looking at Logic Pro's Arpeggiator. What I've done is to set up Retrosynth, one of Logic's own instruments, and I've just created this short little sequency sound which sounds like this. Arpeggiator sounds work really nicely when you've got these quite percussive sounds. I don't mean percussion sounds, but sounds that have a fast attack and a short little decay, so that we've got these nice short little notes. And we'll see how that works with the Arpeggiator when we open it. So I'm going to close Retrosynth down. Arpeggiator, the Arpeggiator within Logic, is one of Logic's MIDI effects. And the place where they're set up is just above the instrument name within the channel strip here. So if I click on the MIDI effects, the Arpeggiator is top of the list, and when I select that, it appears, and we can just pop that over here on the right hand side. Now, what this allows us to do is to work in a number of different ways. We can see straight away that the first little sort of parameter that we have available to us is the rate that the Arpeggiator is going to be working over, and we can also see the direction of travel. What arpeggiators do is allow you to hold down a chord and have that chord broken up into a sequence of notes. So with this sort of up motion selected and at 16th notes, if I hold down a chord, we can hear firstly that that chord's been broken up into 16ths, but also we can hear that the direction of travel is upwards. If we wanted to reverse that, we could select down. So these different modes along here allow you to explore different ways of working, and I'm going to select this mode which goes up and down. What I can also do is to experiment what happens when I change the rate. Let's go up to 1/32 notes instead, much faster. And I've got a sustain pedal down here, so if I hold down a whole range of notes, every time we add new ones, they'll be added into the arpeggiation. And when I let go of the sustain pedal, obviously the notes stop as well. We can go further. We can add variation, which just changes the way that the held notes down sort of behave with one another. And we can also increase the number of octaves. If I take this up to 3, even if I just play notes within this octave, Logic will expand them out across consecutive octaves as well. So we can either create these real sort of flourishes of notes, or we can go back to something more straightforward, slow things down, maybe take things down to an 8th note instead, and just keep things much more minimal. And of course, as I change the tempo of my project, what we'll discover is that because these are tempo-locked arpeggiations, if I change the speed of my project, the arpeggiator will slow down as well. We can go further though with the arpeggiator, and there's a really nice feature down here which allows us to switch from what's called live mode. At the moment, the arpeggiator is behaving in a live capacity. As I play, it responds, and instead we can go into what's called grid mode instead. Now, what this allows me to do is to draw a little sequence of notes, and there are a couple of things that are really nice about this. So first of all, what I can do is to just create a little pattern here, and we'll see what happens when I do that. I can even leave a couple of notes out so that we get little gaps within our sequence as well. Maybe a couple more here right at the end. Now, what we're hearing with the different heights of these individual blocks is velocity. And because velocity is rooted to the filter within this sound, high blocks trigger bright notes and lower ones trigger much duller notes. But because we're still working with an arpeggiator, if I hold down a chord, we're still getting that up and down movement, but now with this extra velocity layer. And there's one extra really nice thing which we can do here. If I click on this little chord icon, what will actually happen is that each step that plays back with the chord activated will play as a chord. So I'll get the whole chord on the first beat, and then it will break up. So we could introduce a couple of those. Let's have one right at the end, and maybe on this 5th step as well. So we can hear that working really nicely. So within this film, what we've done is to look at a few of the modes within the arpeggiator. We've looked at the direction of travel, we've looked at rate, and we've also looked at what happens when we go into grid mode and have an opportunity to draw a sequence of notes rather than just have the arpeggiator run live.